Dang, we should have like a starting soon thing. Throw up a chat and then when you have a second, Ace, let us know that we're good.
Chat in the channel or in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing anything yet.
What's not doing anything yet?
It's not showing streaming.
It definitely
It
is.
says oh wait, what the hell? Never mind. I guess the one that was scheduled for 9:45 is still shown as upcoming. Oh, this is episode number 2. Yeah, I
You
don't know what's
might be
going on, but
right, but it's streaming. It's live. It's literally live.
yeah, maybe the old link won't work though.
Oh my god. Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably the case.
Dang, I think you're right. How did that not work? Wait, why does it say GMT? What the hell is GMT?
Mean Time? Greenwich Mean Time?
I really didn't want the. So what do I gotta do? Delete this? I think the moral of the story is you gotta do everything on OBS. I think you could have started a time on OBS. So what should I do? Delete this? I was looking for some type of positive confirmation, Ace, but it's fine. How do you delete it? Edit, more actions, delete forever. Okay, well, I think it's deleting. Anyway, let's not delay too much long. That link. Okay, you know it's fine. I can just do this. This can be saved. Okay, I like that. Okay, now, yeah, we definitely need one of those starting soon things. One of you guys could have even made that while we were doing this, but it's fine. Okay, so we're definitely live. We definitely can see that. So let's just jump right into this. Oh, we got it recording. Nice. Okay, we're live. We're recording. I believe everything is as it should be, and my audio hopefully sounds pretty good right now. So, with that being said, Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, guys, to the Be Warned and Be Filled podcast. We're back. We're back, and we got everyone here. We got the guys, the family, the bros. We got Ace.
What's up?
We got Wes.
What's up?
We got. If you say the same thing, you guys sound relatively identical, but it's neither here nor there. We got Ghost.
Yo.
And we got myself, Quest Lando. Guys, how are we all doing? How are we all feeling?
Pretty great.
Feeling all right?
Great. Wow. All right. Could be worse.
And I'm doing pretty fine if I do say so myself. Yeah, I got no complaints. Obviously, this means nothing in the grand scheme of when and how you listen to this. But take a bit of a break. Got some things reestablished, made some level of transitions, but we're here again. And as you guys know personally, I do relatively enjoy podcasting, not just because it's something that's cool, but it's one of the few times where I actually get some of the thoughts that I stir around in my head out. So that's good. And I usually save thanks and stuff for later, but I will say it's good that that you guys are all still here and that we can come together and do this podcasting. So I appreciate that. But regardless, before we jump into the topics, and it's not too. I try to load it so there's nothing super serious coming back. Although I still want to hear your thoughts on some of the things. Before we jump into the topics, do we have any content recommendations outside of music, of course?
You go.
I got one. I generally don't recommend, or I don't like to recommend music shows unless you're familiar with the band. I already know that you like them, but I went to see, I guess it was a couple months ago. I went to see Edra Collective, and they're a UK S band. I'm hesitant to say fusion, but that might be the closest genre. And even if you aren't familiar with them, I think that anyone could go there or go to see one of their shows live and greatly enjoy it. Music was dope, obviously, but like the atmosphere, and I'm not one to really care about the stage presence of the artist and all that. I don't care if you got a wooden stage presence on, it's good, but it was definitely very enjoyable. Pretty I don't know what the right word is. I guess hype, because I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Nice.
recommend you check it out if you get a chance.
Dope. That was all for you?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I have a few book recommendations. I couldn't remember how many I've gotten through since we last casted. But I think I think I wanted to talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad. A while
You read
back.
that?
Yeah, I did. And it was, like, to me anyway, it was shockingly good. I think it's because I've been so neglectful about my like financial literacy, and the book doesn't go into detail. It's not like a educational book in any way, but it kind of gives the author's perspective about basically just how to make money and how it was shaped by two father figures in his life, his actual father and the father of his one of his like close friends, and yeah, I took a lot away from it, and it it kind of spurred me to start like trying to get a better handle of my financial situation, and try to figure out ways to make money outside of just the, you know, relying on my 9 to 5 quote unquote job to sustain me. So um yeah, there's a lot I want to do. I haven't done too much as of yet, um but yeah, I recommend the book for anybody that's like um that's kind of in a state of just uh in a state of being financially illiterate, basically. Like if you don't have a good handle on your taxes, or you feel like you want to make a change but you don't really know how or why, or you don't have a lot of motivation, I think it's very good in that sense of just like getting you motivated to start trying to look into things and make changes.
So, I'm not the most avid book reader. If anyone knows me, you know I'm not a book reader at all. But even I've heard of this book in pretty extensively great detail. Isn't that like one of the most like famous books of all time? Like really everybody knows about it.
It's definitely one that everybody knows about, or a lot of people know about anyway.
Like, did you just basically come on here and like explain like a Shakespeare like writings, which is
I
fine.
guess. I mean,
We're not barred from, if you are experiencing vanilla ice cream for the first time, you can express that. um, yeah, I
Barred.
think that's dope that it did have some level of impact. The only thing, and it's not to shame you in any way, you do realize you are probably an anomaly in the sense of a person that doesn't really care about their finances to that degree, right? Like
I
most people,
guess.
most people actively are already working on side hustles, are actively pursuing ways to generate, income even beyond what they will actually ever, achieve. Like most people already have a handle and or are very stressed about finances.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't know if most people are like hustling though, and you're right. Most people finances are first and foremost on their mind, or at least at the forefront. But as far as like what to do, and even like how people approach um making money in general, like just thinking about it as relying on your job solely, or relying on the benefits from your job, or just getting another job, like I feel like a lot of people are in that mentality, and this book kind of, and I definitely was, outside of just not being financially literate, it, to me it was, all I need to do is work to make money. And after reading the book, for example, one of the first things I was motivated to do was make a budget for
A
myself. And
budget?
like
Oh my
I
Bro,
had
bro,
it.
come on
you're
now.
living
You're
in the
telling
past,
me
bro. Come on, bro.
you're I won't disclose ages here, but you're in your early mid adulthood and you out here. I, oh my goodness.
It's one of those things where it's fine. It's like when somebody starts working out later in their life. It's not a bad thing by any means. It's just a bit. I think a lot of people are already on these type of journeys. That's why I said. That's why the only thing I will say, I think you're an anomaly in this.
You know
In
what
this
the funny
instance.
thing is? I think that of all of us, you might actually have the most money, which is hilarious.
Net worth.
Yeah, you might be right, but I think that's the problem, and that's why I was able to be so ignorant towards money and how I spend money, is because I've been able to rely on the cushion of my job. Um,
Which in
but yeah,
theory
that
everyone should be able to, because the fact
in
that
theory,
yeah,
but at the same time, I have come to the realization too that that's not necessarily something I can do into perpetuity. So, and again, all of these thoughts came from me being motivated to think about it by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. So
Fair enough. Fair
that's
enough.
my only point.
Yeah,
The
there's
proxy.
nothing wrong with that. This is not a book podcast or a financial literacy podcast, but if you can take any tips away, and especially if it can come from like a source like a book, we are definitely here to recommend things like that. Okay. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I got one more book.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I read House of Leaves. Took a while for me to get through.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah. I finished it, and it was quite good. I have like one minor gripe with it, but other than that, like I found it to be extremely good. And without getting into any spoiler territory, the like if anybody's heard of the book, if they've looked it up before, you'll see that it's written in like a very unconventional way. Um, just if you just see any like pictures of the pages, there's like text that's backwards, text that's like conforming to different shapes, and there's a lot of like footnotes and references to different sections of the book, the extensive appendices. So what I found while reading the book, it was it was almost like it was a lot more interactive than just a regular like reading through a regular novel. It almost felt like playing a an RPG or something like that, where you you get more out of the book when you put more effort into trying to um like understand and kind of decode um some of the like messages or whatever that the author has sprinkled throughout the book. um and yeah, like as far as the genres, it's a like a psychological, some people consider it horror. I didn't find it to be too um horrifying, but um yeah, it's towards that bent anyway. um and yeah, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, it took me a while, and it is pretty dense in some sections, but
It's taking a while to get to this recommendation. You gotta remember, if some people aren't necessarily in the world of book reading or anything you are recommending, so what's the two I'm gonna read? Why should we read this?
um written in an unconventional way, but still works, or it because of how interactive the reading experience is, it still works as an experience.
Okay, so if you want to read something that's a bit on the psychological thriller side, but not overwhelming, and also has a level of interactivity, you should go read. You should go. You should dive into that.
Yep, there you go.
Got you. What's it called one more time?
House of Leaves.
Got you. Thank you. Okay. Um, if there's nothing else, are you guys ready to get into topics?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, let me work a little thing. I practice this, so hopefully I do it right. So first do this, and then do this, and then boom, beautiful. I was mentioning this beforehand, but like I don't know if everyone was on, but it's interesting because like as you may or may not know, I'm always like reading articles or obviously scrolling through social media and finding stories or topics that worth discussing, and I usually find like quite a few, especially when we're not during times we're not podcasting. But I actually didn't for whatever reason. I actually collected a lot of stories outside of like our podcast, things for like future podcasts and things that I would want to talk about on other different platforms. But I say that to say, Some of these things, kind of like always, are definitely from like a few weeks or even months back, but it's definitely things I want to hear y'all input on, such as this. I don't think this was too long ago. So, zoom in just a smidgen, Ace. So, headline says, student gets suspended for recording geometry teacher. I like how they specified what class it was for using a racial slur. And I guess we'll just hear it for ourselves before we read it any further into it.
I don't know. It feels like when a black person is using it towards another black person, it's the same. How is it not still a derogatory word?
Derogatory, but
I don't know. I don't get it. I mean,
slave owners used to call them that, so it's just like a.
And is the word not allowed? Okay.
I'm gonna say right now, as a teacher, if you want to keep your job, this isn't a threat.
I'm not calling anyone.
I understand.
I can say the word. It's not. Put your phone away.
No.
Just like it's straight out of an episode of The Boondocks.
Or
more to the story. It reads, according to the New York Times, Mary Walton, a 15-year-old student from Springfield, Missouri. So it's all the Springfields out there. Ace, what in the Ghani Ma?
Right.
Just completely live streaming right now. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Student from Springfield, Missouri was suspended for 3 days. Dang, the student got suspended for recording her white teacher using the N-word. The teacher, who was white, used a slur several times in a clip circulating on the internet despite being called out by the students to stop. The teacher was placed on administrative leave that same day and is no longer employed at the school. Dang, they got booted. The spokesperson for the school says they were confident that the district appropriately and promptly handled all matters related to what occurred at Glendale. They also point out a policy of students' handbook prohibits students from using their cell phones to make audio or visual recordings and our faculty and staff and classroom without the school's approval. So I guess you can't fault the school for giving a suspension, even though in their students' defense they were just trying to record. Without this recording, then how would you have confirmed that the teacher has said it? So, I mean, it's kind of clear cut. You caught him red-handed, and I mean, we've had this conversation time and time again, and as I always say, we're probably going to continue to have it. But it's just the N-word discussion again. You have a person who's questioning why they can't use it or why it's acceptable for other people to use it in so many words. So I guess and this might be the first time of this year we've had this conversation. So it's always nice to refresh, see if anyone's thoughts have changed. Maybe even watching this video maybe could sway somebody's opinion on the matter. But I guess we'll just go around the horn real quick and get everyone's view. Or I don't know if I've ever asked it explicitly like this, but the first question that comes to my mind is the N-word or any slur, we can branch it out, it doesn't have to be a slur towards black and brown people, acceptable in context and or during an explanation. So in this case, just like the teacher was trying to explain, they weren't calling anybody it, or they weren't directing it at anyone. They were trying to, talk about it. And of course, they used the word. They could have said the N-word, but they used the word in an explanation. So again, the question is, if you're just talking about it in context, or you're trying to explain something around the word, is it acceptable to use the word? What do you think, Wes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I kind of want to hear y'all explanations, but maybe I'll just get the quick yes or no. What do you think, Ghost?
Yes.
Okay, 2 yeses. Are you gonna be on the same wave, Ace?
Yes.
Interesting. And when I say acceptable, that means anyone can use it.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes, but obviously we're gonna get into the caveat.
Oh, okay, and I guess we'll just go right back around. Ace, why do you say yes?
I say yes, but with the caveat that that's for me. So
No, hold on. Is this what y'all are rolling with? That it's only
Nah,
applicable if somebody's using it in
that's
around
him,
you?
not me. That's his explanation.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'll let you go ahead.
yes, I mean, I'm saying that because no matter what I say, other people are going to disagree, and I think that's what isn't understood when these events happen, like the example we're seeing in the video. It doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really matter what my opinion is, because you're going to have people that are of the opposite opinion, and if you upset them, that's when you have a problem.
Huh?
Okay, I was about to say, is it just me that's not rolling with that indoor confused?
I
Or
got
is-
it. I follow.
So,
Okay. Since you follow, I'll hear your explanation as well before I push back on it. Go ahead.
So my explanation, and I wasn't necessarily gonna lead with the fact that this is one person's opinion, but in terms of what I feel about it is that, I remember reading Tom Sawyer in class, and the word came up, and
A
people
book from a
read the
completely
word.
different time period, but go ahead.
Yeah, people read the word, and it was what it was. And I think about like audiobooks from reading books another time, whatever, or whatever. In context, when people are discussing it, they can say, "Oh yeah, you can say the N word in place of it," but I don't think that the usage of it in context necessarily means that that person is trying to use it derogatorily or even familiarly. I don't know. But and so that doesn't offend me personally. That doesn't perk my ears up that much. And it's, say what you will, but that my opinion on that changes for music. But
So there's no consistency here, but continue.
but yeah, in terms of if there's a discussion being had around the term, and you're identifying the term, I'm not gonna be mad if you use the word. Now, the question that came to my mind is, why is this discussion being had in geometry class? And I also think that
I mean, if we were to assume, it's because people were using it in class. That's a TDL assumption.
perhaps, but as a geometry teacher, you should just say, "Hey, I don't want that word used in my class. Let's continue the lesson." Like, schools are not. I think there's an ideal version of school in which discussions about anything can be had in any class. That's not reality. And for a geometry teacher to be having this discussion is kind of
So
strange. But yeah, go ahead.
even by that, you're saying it's acceptable within context, but there's also a time and place.
Yeah, there's a time and place to have those discussions. Like, this should not have been a controversy that arose from a geometry class. It could have been an English class, could have been a history class, but that fact is strange to me. Not that it's necessarily relevant to our discussion, but that is something that I picked up on.
Okay, 2 for 2. I don't necessarily agree, but okay, Ghost, maybe you can save this.
I mean, I'm not really. For me, it doesn't. My personal stance on it isn't where I was going with my answer.
Thank you.
When I say yes, it's acceptable. The funny thing is, the example that came to mind for me was Huckleberry Finn, where it's a historical, not a historical, but it was a book written in the 1800s or whatever, where it was being used. If it's in the context of you're doing read-alongs in class and someone's reading the passage and they read it, that's one thing. But for me, that's really the only justification. And this teacher having this discussion is not, it just doesn't make any sense. Because I mean, for one, you've seen this a million times before, like where people, I won't say what specific type of people, but people have questions on why they can't use certain words and blah blah blah. I thought that at this point in 2023 that we've established when or why black people use the M word and white people do not. But apparently that some people it's lost on them.
That was actually the
And
second part of my question, so I like where you're going with that.
honestly, I don't even have an issue with the teacher asking, but the fact that he specifically said the word was just so unnecessary that it's kind of hilarious. Like, what benefit is there to using it? Everyone knows what you're talking about already. It's kind of crazy, but
Yeah, there's an extent to which these people know what they're doing, and it's an intentional antagonism. Like,
yeah, that might be it. It could just, I'm kind of looking at it more innocuous, but it
I'm
could
s-
just be he's out of pocket trying to get away with stuff. But
You know the crazy part? I really thought we had this conversation a couple times. This would be quick, but like I have a million questions. I guess I should have started off with this. So, based on y'all rationale, and again, and sorry, I'll try to stick to one point. Based on your rationale, does anyone think that this particular? I didn't want to necessarily focus on the clip too much, but I think this was a problem and what the teacher just did.
yes, what he did, that he specifically said it, yes.
Okay, y'all too, Ace, Wes.
Yeah. I think it's a problem.
Wow.
I think there was a degree of intentional antagonism. Yes, I think it was.
Which you're just applying to that, even though there's really you kind of have to know a person to come to that kind of conclusion.
No, you watch the situation. I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't have said it, and I'm black, so I think you have to be
Okay.
you
So let
have
me
to
get
be
let me get on my thoughts. Okay, so I don't necessarily agree with what Ghost said, but I think I can kind of understand the concept of if you're reading something from a historical piece, and you know there's just no way, well, there's a way around it, but for a second's sake, that's an acceptable time and place when you can do it. My kind of response to that is based on it being a historical work. If a book's written in 2015 and some white person saying N word or anyone saying N word, is it acceptable for you to read along and say the N word?
I will say yes. I'll take
Yes.
the historical part out of it. I think specifically for books,
For
I'll
literature.
say as long as it's in an academic mind frame, I think yes. If it's for, like,
So
I know what mentioned music, if it's for music and it's like a pleasure thing, you sing along to a song, you sing a word, I don't think it's fine then. If it's academic in nature, then I'm
what's the most
okay.
important part, the literature aspect or the academic part?
The academic part. It doesn't even have to be literature. It could be
Okay, so if they have a music study class, a hip hop study class, and they're going over lyrics, they can say it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Ghost. Sorry.
I'm I'll say yes. Again, that's kind of a sketchy example because
I mean, these classes exist. You can literally go to some colleges and like
they exist.
Harvard, and they're studying Nas and Kendrick Lamar.
Lupe's class.
Okay, let me reframe the academic thing. If they were reading along like verbatim in an academic passage or an essay and the word was there, I'd say it's all right because again, it's just reading along. If it's just discussion about the word itself, even if it's academic and they're saying it for the sake of saying it, then I have a problem with it. And that would apply in the sense of the music class as well.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. Even if I don't necessarily agree, I can kind of understand that point. So if I'm understanding what you were saying, you're saying, I mean, you're just basically saying, yeah, within context is acceptable And you were also saying like if you're reading along, it's acceptable as well. So it seems like your main thing is if it's not being used, if it's not being used directly at somebody.
No, I mean I think it's not necessarily a directedness, but it's also a where is it being generated from? So is it let's say a white person in their own discourse decides to spice up their language with the N word? If that's the case, whether it be general sense, whether it be not directed at
Okay,
any
so what's the
specific person,
confines? And I understand what you're saying. So what's the confines of what's acceptable?
when you are reciting another, like we said, I think the academic point is a good way to put it. If you're reading an article, if you're reading a book,
If you're reading an
if
article,
you're studying, yeah.
first of all, articles probably shouldn't have the N word in them, but that's neither here nor there. Okay.
I mean, it depends on what year the article came from, but I'm just saying any type of document like this, for the purpose of studying it, you don't necessarily. I don't think that the censorship is necessary. Whatever it said, if you're studying, if you're discussing in that context, you say it.
Okay,
However,
I got you.
immediately,
And
immediately
do you
when it
think it's
becomes your
applicable?
own,
Do you think it's
immediately when it
applicable
becomes
for
your
all
own
slurs?
word,
I get your point. I get your point.
yeah, I think it's applicable for all slurs.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
if
yes.
you were reading something, or if you were in an environment, no matter what words on that paper, you're reading it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess you weren't leaning on it too much, but I also found it a bit strange how you guys were leaning so heavily on it being your personal opinion. Because while we are here to speak, based off our opinions, it's kind of meant to be a broad sense of what makes sense. If you're just saying,
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry. Yeah. This is the point. I don't care necessarily about consistency. Like, and I know you love, consistency, but I don't really care, because it's at the end of the day, in this case,
saying,
yes.
So
Whatever you're gonna say.
when JD said is Uchiwara one mic, you don't care about that at all. It can be
I don't care. If you ask me what offends me personally, or not that you're
I
asking
didn't.
that question, not that you're asking that question, but in this case, if we're talking about what I think and what is too far for me, it's literally just subject to what I feel. Like, I acknowledge this.
So say you're in this situation and you have a white person and they're trying to understand, and that kind of gets me to my second question about like, is if someone doesn't understand in this day and age, do you feel compelled to explain it to them? But you have a white person and they're trying to understand, and they maybe even use the word throughout the conversation. That's acceptable?
This is what they need to understand. You stop when I say stop. When you're talking to me specifically.
But why? If it's just based off your personal opinion?
No, if you're having a conversation with me, you stop when I say stop, or else I'll feel that you're being disrespectful in this context. And if we can't have a conversation, that's the end of the conversation.
So people just didn't say the N-word around you.
I didn't say that.
But you're saying it's about your level of disrespect to it.
Yeah, I told you my limits. And the fact is, the first time they say it, that's fine. But subsequent uses, it's going to have to be, we're going to have a mutual respect. Like, if I say, hey, can you not say it? Can you lighten up or whatever, if we're going to have the conversation? And if they really want to understand, then they'll do it. If they don't, then we're done. Like, I mean,
it just seems like the moral of the story is like, don't say the N-word around you.
That's not what I said. I just said you can read it, we can discuss it, we can. The first time you say it, if you feel that you're gonna say it, of your own usage in front of me, I'm gonna let you know where my limits are.
But you're also saying there's no. But you started with saying there's no consistency, so it's like I could walk away not even understanding when and where is the acceptable, when and where it's not acceptable.
This is what you need to learn. Black people have different opinions. This is part of what you're learning.
This is true, but you don't think there's a relative consensus on the matter?
No. Yeah. No.
So why did the teacher get fired?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll say the consensus.
What?
Hold on. The relative consensus is that white people shouldn't say it and black people can say it. But that's not even. I don't know what percentage that falls on. Like as far as
enough for somebody to get fired. I don't. What are we talking about?
okay.
This was my whole original point, Quest.
Exactly.
This was my whole original point. It doesn't matter if a minority of people are okay with it and the majority aren't, or vice versa. If you piss off the people that aren't okay with it, they're gonna have the louder voice, and you're gonna have to face the consequences.
That's not
So,
necessarily true.
okay.
The bottom line is there are repercussions.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
If we were having a conversation with a white person, my advice would be not to use it, regardless of whether I'm okay with you using it, me, or not, because of other people, other black people that are not going to be okay with it. So it comes down to the same conclusion we always come to. If you use it, be prepared for consequences.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you say it like that, then of course I'm gonna agree. But I think that conflicts with y'all. I mean, that it does in a way conflict with y'all original point though. Like if you have that mind frame of again, be prepared for the consequences, then a person would more likely come away with that. Then okay, I should just not use this.
You should.
If a white person
not use it in context or when it's I'm trying to explain why I shouldn't or should use it.
If a white person asks me what should they do in regards to the N-word, my one line answer is don't use it. That's it. If you want to get into now nitty gritty, and if I'm personally gonna be offended if you use it, I'll tell you what.
I mean, I believe you that would be your response, but you do see how that's vastly different from your original sentiment of okay, if it's in context, you go ahead.
No, I don't see how it's vastly different. You're quoting someone else in a academic context that I wouldn't tell you to use any other. As I said, it applies for every
your way all day and night, but at the end of the day, you still said it.
All right, that's fine. But I mean, as you said earlier, it applies for every slur. So I wouldn't say the words, and no, don't pull quote me on this. I wouldn't say the words.
Don't say any slurs here. There will be no. If you want to hear my hard stance on it, no slurs. No, absolutely not.
I'm just saying I wouldn't say the words "Hail Hitler." Let's say, for example. But if I'm reading something, I'm gonna say I don't use profanity often often at all. But if I'm reading, it's a different.
Do you think all slurs are equally and within context? Do you think that say a Hispanic or a Native American person reading a slur is the exact same thing as a white person reading a slur? Slur towards black people?
No. I'll say no because we understand that there's different degrees and different repercussions for different slurs. There's slurs that sting more than others, and they're targeted towards certain groups. Like we can act like they're all the same, but you'll never really hear. I mean, never really, but you'll hear people have slur discussions all the time, and they'll say certain slurs, but they won't say the N-word, literally. Like there's things that incite more than others, just because of the history of the words, the history of the groups that are being targeted by the words. But I guess if you're asking specifically about the N-word and whether it stings more from coming from a certain group, I think it's always going to sting the most from a white person. I think that's my opinion based on the history of the country, et cetera, et cetera.
That would be most people's opinion, by the way.
I believe so, but yeah, that's what I think.
And I agree with Ace. How he kind of consolidated the point. Kind of sounds like a point that I've said before, so I won't go back and forth too much on this. And I think, speaking of consistency, I think you guys have been consistent on your points before. It kind of sounds weird hearing it again, but I think that we kind of come to the relatively the same conclusion. So I guess that's fine. I guess I just asked. We'll make it a quick yes or no, small explanation. if you were in this situation in an environment where somebody's trying to have the conversation of why or why, I guess so. Ace, you said you would just say don't say it ever, or is that correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what you would say to it, Wes,
Yeah, that's the short answer.
and then Ghost. That's what you say.
Yep.
Interesting. And even if they try to have some level of combativeness, like this teacher had, like, I mean, what's the problem? Like, you guys, like, black people say it to each other, and it's a term of endearment and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just explain why. I'm not the one that's going to get offended, but I'll explain.
Yeah.
I'll explain the fact that other people will. So you're running that risk regardless.
Got you. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fine.
Yeah, and to be a point of clarity, when I talked about being offended earlier, I'm specifically if you're trying to have the conversation and you keep dropping the N word, I consider that more of a disrespect. Offense only comes if they're trying to call me the N word, like. But yeah, I think there is an element like in the situation of the teacher. I think there's an element of being a provocateur or being intentionally obtuse because everybody knows. And as I said, if I was in the situation, I wouldn't have said the word as the teacher. So if you want to have the conversation, especially in a large group, it's much easier and better to have it without saying the word. If you actually want to learn or if you actually want to challenge people even, I feel like you're gonna get more respect if you don't say it. And you'll get farther.
That point I very much agree on, and I think we can all agree on to that point. Like, there's a world in which he does not even get fired because if he never said it.
Yeah.
Funny part too is at this point, I think he's not only are you running the risk of offending black people, you're running the risk of offending white liberal people. Like I feel
Yeah.
like you get canceled by
Yeah.
by white people just as easily now for saying the N word. So just it's not. It's never going to be a smart move.
Yeah. And I do agree. Again, I don't want to hyper focus too much on the guy themselves, and I don't want to assume that they were trying to have any level of maliciousness behind it. But I do agree they probably were being obtuse. And the fact, whenever you see any of these clips, and again, it's just it's a clip, so we don't have we don't have the entire like setup and things. But whenever you see these clips, and like a student is explaining something to the teacher, we're already seeing like we're in a bad place because like the teacher should be the rational, level-headed, authority in the picture. But yeah, okay, yeah, I'm good. I think I'm good on that. No one's getting canceled here just yet. Yes, I'm glad you scrolled because that is really the moral of the story. Why is he asking kids that and not someone black his own age? Okay, yeah. If there's nothing else, we can move on to the next one. Make sure OBS is still running and hopefully YouTube is still running fine. Make sure you're looking on that every now and then, Ace.
All right.
Okay. So, is this the order that I dropped the things in? Oh, yeah, it is. There's been a lot of conversation about AI recently. Some people think it's just a fad, interestingly enough. But, I mean, if you've seen every sci-fi movie ever, I mean, it doesn't seem that's going to be the path forward. But I digress. So this is from, what is this thing? Sorry, I'm looking at a couple different things. Okay, sorry. So this is from, what is this, Fast Company? So it's Fast Company. And this article reads, Gen Z dating app Snack. It's interesting app name. Lets your AI trained avatar go on dates so you don't have to. So I won't read this entire article, but I'll read a bit if you scroll down, Ace. So, I never thought I'd start to consider dating apps like Tinder would be old school dating. That's a good point. Until I found out about Snack, new tool to help Gen Z and millennials find the love of their lives. If you haven't heard of Snack, it's one of the newest dating apps, first released in 2021. In late 2021, sorry. It has a TikTok-like interface, of course it does, and designed primarily for Gen Z, being an upstart dating app. Snack certainly isn't afraid to make some bold choices. In 2022, it introduced a feature that literally made users invisible if they ghosted others. Oh, if they ghosted others too often. Interesting. Given how big of a problem ghosting can be in the dating world, that feature is pretty cool. But Snack's latest feature, well, cool isn't the right word. Bizarre and intriguing are better ways to describe it. That's because Snack is jumping on the AI bandwagon. See, some people think it's a fad. Now allowing users to create AI-trained avatars of themselves. These AI avatars of you then go out into Snack's virtual dating world to chat with others users. If your AI-trained avatar thinks there could be a match, it'll report to you, and you can decide yourself to start a real human-to-human conversation. Just to give you an insight of how it works. So, I mean, like I said, there's been 100 million conversations about AI. Obviously, I don't think this is even that surprising at this point that, apps are, using this type of methodology to try to form human connections of all things. So I don't think there's too much to, overthink on this. I guess this kind of starts off with a simple question of, would you potentially explore this avenue of dating and/or social interaction? What do you think, Goose? Think you could make an AI avatar out there and let it go on the wild for you?
This is beyond stupid, and I don't think I have anything else to add, to be honest. This just seems absolutely pointless, and yeah. If it works for someone, good for you, but I will never ever in my life do something like this ever.
We're gonna explore why you feel is that way. What about you? Ace? What do you think of this method?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first thing I want to point out is this is directly like ripped from a Black Mirror episode. Hang the DJ. It's a great episode.
At this point, a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, and based on the Black Mirror episode, I think I would have been fine with it. But the thing is, like, I don't know how well an AI representation of me or another person would, like how well that representation would be. So even if I'm interacting with,
because you don't know how powerful AI can be at this point, or you don't know if it's even possible to get to a level where it's a good representation of you.
Yeah, it's more. I don't think it's at the point where it would be a good representation at this point, based on my interaction with AI, up to now, and I mean that might be the only issue. Like if I actually believed it was good enough, then maybe I would be fine with it. But I don't think it's there yet.
Okay, we can dive into that more. We can dig into that, see what it would need for you, and then I guess Wes, hypothetically, do you think this is something that you could ever explore or try?
This is brilliant.
An alternate reality. You said what?
This is brilliant.
Nice.
This is brilliant.
If anyone thinks we're not diverse in opinion here,
the problem, the caveat is, would I have ever used it? No, because of the security side of things. But from a conceptual standpoint, if you had, theoretically, if you had an AI that could simulate you well enough, and you had an AI stipulation, I would only like it if AIs interacted independent of both users. So whatever conversation happened with the AI was closed to both users.
And you couldn't have. That's a good point.
Yeah, and you couldn't have AI.
To an AI, I think you're talking to a person.
Yeah, you could never have that situation. So if your AI was just if your AI was just running trials and then matched you, based on whatever that AI had interaction with their AI, I think the match would probably be better than a simple profile, looking at the profile and having to do the legwork yourself. It could be pretty
Did
effective,
you
I
hear
think,
Ace?
theoretically.
Say that again.
Can you scroll up? Some of the guys are a bit
Oh,
distracting.
yeah,
Oh,
I
wait.
don't know. Yeah, here we go. It's the site.
It's fine. I think you make some great, excellent points. What was your reason why you
But yeah,
went
that was pretty much it.
Because security? What security measures would have to be in place?
That's a good point.
What security measures would have to be in place for you to
You're muted, Quest.
Damn it! Sorry, I'm a semi-professional. You said security was an issue.
Yeah.
What security measures would have to be in place for you to be acceptable with it?
I mean, I don't know if I could truly entrust an app developer with an AI profile of myself. I mean, it'd have to be.
So your concern would be that they would sell your data?
Yeah, they know too much. They would know an uncomfortable amount, I think, about, and it could be argued that they already do, but I don't like that.
So what if they had it in their terms of agreement, terms of service, whatever, that they absolutely positively do the information stays exactly within their servers or whatever the hell it never leaves, and if it does, they can be held liable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would have to we would have to just say there's a hypothetical world in which I can trust them, because I don't think that there's a likelihood that I would, regardless of what their terms say.
Okay. My bad. What was your apprehension? What was your apprehension? I already forgot. Sorry.
What'd you say, Quest?
What was your apprehension, if any? I already forget. My apologies.
Mine?
Yes.
It was if it was accurate enough.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Although I can also see a world in which, I mean, if you plug in enough data, it's going to be a representation of you, or at least
but that's the thing. Like, what other data can you give it besides your interests?
Well,
you can give it your preferences and what you don't want, your non-negotiables.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what dating apps already do. No.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I'm thinking of like a match.
The difference is once you put those preferences in, you still have to go out and search. This does the searching for you.
So in my conception, you would probably need to do some trial dates with real people, and it would have to collect information, which again is a little bit.
What do you mean by trial dates? Like
dates with real people.
This makes.
How would it?
So you start with real dates, and it's collecting your responses, your.
How's it getting that information?
Bro, this is crazy. So you're telling me you're gonna have to run some fake or some real dates.
Mm-hmm.
It collects data about you via those fake dates. It'll have enough info to map your personality. And then from there, then it starts going on virtual dates for you.
Yeah, potentially. And
that doesn't make sense.
Hold on now. So the quote unquote fake dates could be real or fake, technically.
Yeah, so you find a suitable partner through the trial dates. It seemed like you're saying that you could still just pursue that.
Yeah.
I'm still confused on how you're thinking the AI is getting information about the date.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Listening? Is it listening? Like what?
Oh, you think these are
listening?
Sorry,
what are you talking about?
I'm sorry. Hold on. When I say dates, I'm sorry. I'm talking about chats.
Yeah, it's virtual dates.
That's what I was trying to
Yeah, virtual, all virtual. Not I'm not talking about real world. The thing is, you got a mic on you.
You got the app running while you're on the date.
No. I'm talking text based. Text based.
Okay.
And again, you think that these virtual dates are enough for the AI to map your personality accurately enough?
I do.
To
absolutely
give accurate representation of yourself, your likes, your dislikes, all that stuff.
I mean,
One, yes, and two, it doesn't really matter. It just has to approach accuracy.
Bro, what you mean it don't matter? Hold up.
He's
on.
right.
He's
Okay.
right.
No, hold up.
That's awesome. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So you're saying it doesn't. Oh, let me frame this a different way. If you were to go on a dating app, I'm assuming that the most important qualities that if you're trying to find a prospective date or someone you're compatible with, you're trying to figure out what their personality is. First and foremost, that is the most important thing, correct?
Their personality?
Yes. Their
That's
personality.
not the first thing
Why'd you
God's
say it
looking
like
for,
that?
but that's fine. If you want to phrase it like that, their personality.
Well, okay, you come up with a better word.
What?
No. Hold on. Let me put it this way.
I'm not even.
Let me put it this way though. Let me put it this way. You may be compatible with multiple personalities, multiple different types of personalities. You're not necessarily going to be compatible with different life goals. Like there's things that are more indicative of whether a relationship is going to work than your initial take on their personality.
Things that they would list in their dating profile that you could find out in 20 seconds and say, oh, okay, this person wants to do this, and that with their life, and I'm not into that right now. And you save the whole step of the AI. That's what you're telling me.
I think
Okay,
AI,
so go ahead, Quest.
I don't know if it's going to be a point. I think where the AI comes in, it starts to form your personality and how you would respond to certain things. Exactly. And I kind of think back to like conversation that we were having like how I saw some of these like president AI like back and forth. So I think obviously the more it has to work with, the better it can be a representation of you. Like not just your personality or your personality and what your interests, what you do for work, but even like how you would communicate with a person, and that can give a better sense of if you would be compatible with a person.
Yes.
So
Ghost.
It's not about trusting AI. Have you ever seen these videos where they have like an AI like Barack Obama talking to Joe Biden? Like
I've seen them, but again, that's a fucking fake, bro. That's not real. Like,
remember the point, though. Remember the point of all this.
And there is a level of trust because you have to. The AI could be coming up with a profile of you and your friggin' Charles Manson or something. Like
Ghost.
If we're just gonna assume that the person using it is a serial killer, then I guess yes, it's a problem.
Ghost. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Listen to what happens. If your profile becomes an AI serial killer, and in my model, and that other person's AI is interacting with your AI, and that other person shuts you down, and you don't match with that particular person, just a blip, and it gets consumed in the noise of the data, and you're still on the app. You can still have regular dates with.
No, I'm looking at it from the flip side, though. No, because what if your AI comes up with the personality of your serial killer, and and you are compatible with the other person,
and you miss that one person, I'm every day.
It could work both ways. You match with a person that you're not really compatible with because the AI isn't coming up with something that's accurate.
Yep.
Or you miss matching with someone that you are compatible with because the AI doesn't come with something accurate.
Yep. And what is the result? You date somebody that you're not compatible with, or you miss somebody that you are. You constantly do that regardless of whether the AI element is there or not. On dating apps.
But I don't understand.
That's the worst case scenario.
AI is coming up with inaccurate results, and you're going out on these dates basically for no reason because you're not compatible. It's useless.
So goes
the worst case scenario.
I think I can kind of see your issue. Is your issue that in quote unquote regular dating apps, at least it's like you're the driving force behind if you or the matches, aside from if it's the AI doing the work, you don't even have control, or you have less control over those matches. Is that your problem?
It's not about the matches for me, because the matches, if you want an AI to match you with a person, someone that has X, Y, and Z, they're a certain age, certain number of kids, blah blah. These dating apps do that already. My thing is, once you match with a person and you're talking with them, you're actually speaking with them via text or whatever, you have the trust that the AI is coming up with something that's accurate and that can simulate the way you would go about this conversation and the way that this other person would go about this conversation. And for one, I don't trust that. And for two, even if it was accurate, you're not involved with the process. Like,
hold up. Listen
You
to
guys
this.
just
Listen.
don't trust
Think.
AI. That's the problem.
I think you don't understand. I think you don't understand the model. At least I don't know. Again, this is my model. I don't know if it's exactly what the article is saying. But picture this: you have a profile, and there's matches. You get a match. You can, okay, let's say there's a conventional match, which somebody's looking at your profile, you're looking at their profile, and you match, whatever, that's fine. Then you have an AI match, which is just the same thing, it looks the same, except maybe there's a little symbol of a robot. Okay, this is an AI match. It's just saying that there is some level of behind the scenes work that was done that says, hey, maybe this is a little bit of a better match. It's no indication. It's nothing more than that. And I would say, like, all the AI matching in the background, again, if it's a match, then it just puts that little symbol. If it's not, it doesn't give you a negative match. It doesn't hide that person's profile. It just doesn't put its stamp of approval on that match. And so when you actually do the date yourself, you then have to use your own judgment. You don't say, oh, just because this is an AI match, it's going to be perfect. You just say, oh, this is nice to know that there was some legwork done. This might be a better thing to pursue than wasting my time filtering out everybody. The other thing that you had mentioned before was that, oh, if you look at their profile, you see that your goals line up, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you've, I don't think you have, but in terms of actually doing online dating, and I haven't either, but I've talked to a lot of people online, and there's a lot of times where you may have the same goal, you may have a lot of things in common, but you start up a conversation and it falls flat immediately and there goes nowhere, and there's no point in continuing to pursue that. So with that knowledge, just looking at their profile is what people are ready. Like, they're just trying to add a little bit of an advantage to current model using AI. That's all I see it as, barring all this security stuff I talked about before. But yeah,
if that's the way the model works, sure, that it makes sense. I mean, it's not necessarily hurting anything. However, again, it all circles back to the fact that this AI match that it's creating, it's using some information about yourself to create a facsimile of how you would approach a situation in order to create that match. And what I'm saying is, I don't trust it whatsoever. And even if it's, again, like you said, it's not necessarily a negative that it provides you with an AI match, but I don't care about it and I'm going to ignore it because I think that is useless and I don't see any
Okay, I think we started to get it. You don't trust it. What's the TLDR? Why don't you trust it exactly? You don't think they are good enough, or you don't trust AI in general, or you're skeptic? Or
I think that that believing in AI can create a model of someone's personality well enough to determine if they're compatible with someone else. Another facsimile, someone else's personality, is a crazy concept, and it's not possible.
Okay, so that's just a level of whether. So that's just based off whether, like, you've seen how strong or powerful AI can be in its current day and age.
I've seen how powerful AI can be, but AI is not a human. That's what it boils down to.
well, hold on, you don't believe that? I mean,
But you do know that people are getting tricked already by AI.
yeah, that's my question. You don't believe that if, let's say, if I fed an AI model enough information or enough of my conversations, my text conversations, you don't believe that you could be fooled into thinking that you're having a conversation with me? For let's say, I don't know, let's give it a period of time for I don't know, half hour of text conversation. You don't think you could be fooled?
I mean, if it's sporadic text, sure. I mean, I do believe that if I wasn't expecting it, yeah, maybe. But again, it's kind of not the point because it's not about creating a approximation of a random human, or even if it's just you talking for half an hour. It's about finding someone that you're compatible with,
Yeah, but now
a
let's
real
extrapolate.
person.
Let's extrapolate. So if there's an AI that can approximate 30 minutes of text exchange with my, my whatever, my humor, my type of responses, whatever. If there's a person, an AI that can do that reasonably well, and there's an AI that can do that for someone else, and those two AI have a text conversation for approximately 30 minutes, if there's a point where that conversation breaks off into stagnance or gets into weird territory or just seems unpleasant based on the information that was fed to both of those AIs, then that conversation can be rated good or bad, and that can signify, okay, match or no. That's all. That's the concept in my mind anyway. And again, if they throw that little badge of approval on the match, that's just one little hint to the user. And as I said, nobody knows what was discussed by the AI. Nobody has any insight into that. I think that would be the perk. That would be the slight advantage that this dating app has on conventional dating apps or whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm completely on Wes' side now. Actually,
What do you say?
I said I'm completely on Wes' side, and I started thinking more, and I think I was wrong because there are definitely ways to get AI to like mate or impersonate certain people. Like you mentioned it, the president's thing. I wasn't really thinking about it fully, but like I've seen different prompts from people to like talk whatever, talk in a Shakespearean manner,
Yeah,
or
write a
things
poem.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to like spin the wheels and like push back if you just aren't with it. But I don't necessarily understand, Ghost, if you believe, and I guess maybe it's when you get to like trying to be compatible with another human. But I don't necessarily understand, if you can, it provided that it sounds crystal clear, crispy, or maybe even if you're just reading it, if you can read something and it's an AI generated like freaking Joe Rogan, and you're hearing it or reading it, and for all intents and purposes, you think this is straight. You think it came straight from Joe Rogan's mouth. I don't understand how you don't think you could get that from a random person.
I mean, for one, those AI videos you're talking about, I watch them because they're entertaining, but there's not really any points where I'm thinking, like, I'm actually considering that this is Joe Rogan and it's in real life.
What if you didn't know?
My thoughts.
But if it was
Yeah.
text and if it was a pull quote, like it was a pull quote, and it said, "Oh, this was Joe Rogan," and you hear his tone, in the text. You read his tone into the text.
Maybe I'd be fooled, but it's text. It's surface level. Again, your example, you were talking about like 30 minutes.
It just
I might
why
be
isn't
fully
that
thinking with
why
you,
isn't that
but-
useful in finding people when we already have a similar system of which you just going based off, okay, this person likes to travel, oh, this person likes Chinese food.
Yeah,
Because that's not their personality. That's just what they like and don't like.
But hold
But
on, hold on.
I
You
kinda-
have the conventional dating app preferences, whatever. All this stuff that we said is already on a conventional dating app. Their preferences, their likes, their dislikes, whatever. That's all there. So that, in addition to some sample, some depending on the size, some sample of your exchange and how you go about speaking or whatever, and plus your dating profile. Like, if it gets the AI somewhere, again, it just needs to be good enough to know how of a hypothetical exchange could be between you and that person, which is what that would happen in the background.
I don't think that there's any benefit. The way I see it is, let's say you had a younger brother that was like in the 6th grade or something, and you had him go on your behalf try to approximate how he thinks you would approach a situation and talk to another sixth grader acting on behalf of the other person in the situation. That's the way I look at it, because again, it's so it wouldn't provide me with any useful data. I mean, that's just.
Wait, I kind of got confused by the example. You're saying
I kind of.
what if a sixth grader used the app?
No. Sorry. So let me explain it better. So instead of the AI acting as your stand-in, you have a sixth grader acting as your stand-in, and the same thing goes for the other woman you're talking to, has a sixth grader acting for her stand-in, and these sixth graders are talking to each other on behalf of you and the other person, and then based on that conversation, they determine if it's going to be a compatible match or not. And
why would you have somebody else standing in for one, and you don't think you're?
That's my whole point.
You don't think
that's my entire point?
So your problem is not with the app; it's with if somebody uses it maliciously or out of the context.
No. Quest, he's saying the AI is the sixth grader.
I'm saying
okay, sorry. Yeah, you need to the way you explained it, I didn't really get that. Oh yeah, and that goes back to you don't trust how powerful AI can be. How was it not that?
I suppose, yeah, I guess.
Sixth grader, that's hilarious.
Yeah, if you're saying the capabilities of an AI is of a sixth grader, then I can understand the problem. That's just what you believe it to be.
I don't think AI is capable of simulating human thought. That's just how I.
That's not what we're asking it to do. That's a completely different conversation.
We're not even
absolutely
nowhere near that conversation.
Dude, hold on. Ghost. What are you?
Like you just.
We are saying Ghost.
The point of a dating app is not to like get inside the critical mind of a person like that. It's to have.
Hold on, Ghost. You're getting inside the mind. Ghost. You're talking about simulating human consciousness.
Connection.
We're talking about literal
off of
Ghost.
Your mind and
Ghost. Hold up, Ghost. Exactly, Ghost. You're talking about sentience. Like we're talking about. Hold on. Let me tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about literally agree. The best thing. I mean, I feel like AI computers, mimicry. They thrive in mimicry. We just want a little, a little bit of an extrapolation of your character. You went all the way, like conscious beings. We're not talking about that.
I don't trust that mimicry.
Okay,
all right.
I can settle on that. It's fine. And we can just kind of straight transition to it. Doesn't have to be a whole big thing. We can go straight to the next topic. Base. Yeah, I guess if you don't have faith or understanding or whatever the case may be on our current, pull up the next thing is on how good or bad AI can be, then maybe you'll have different feelings on that, because this story, the dating story, wasn't necessarily a negative spin on it, but I think it's reasonable to say a lot of people do have negative and or apprehensiveness towards AI. In one realm in which we've seen that for good reason, to be honest, is in the music industry, where people are starting to use AI to generate like artists doing renditions of other songs, or just straight up new music from artists and things of that nature. And there's a lot of conversations happening, from labels and from artists themselves, but it seems like there is some situations in which people are actually happy about this new use of technology. So this post by @Kings the creator, they said this is a monumentous moment. I probably said that wrong. In the music history. Timberland explains how he always had a dream to collab with Biggie, but never had a chance to. Thanks to AI, he was able to make his dream a reality. Disclaimer, the song is fire. I wish they just said this disclaimer, the song is like not copyright material, because I kind of am a little bit iffy about playing it, but it's 1 minute, hopefully. Or the actual song itself is just like less than 30 seconds, so hopefully it won't be that big of a deal.
It can't be copyrighted.
I could easily imagine a world in which people's voices are copyrighted, but let's just play it and hear what Timberland has to say about the matter.
All right, so I'm sitting here with my brother, Creative God. And we know that there's a lot of talk about AI. We know how the feelings of violating certain things, but let me tell you something. I got a solution. I'm working on it. It's going to be beneficial to everybody. But in the meantime, I got to share something I've been working on because I always wanted to do this and I never got a chance to. I always wanted to work with Big and I never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play.
Now I'm him, but I keep the trick up my sleeve. Worry my sick and fuck around and get your bitch see. Gotta have my palm, she won't be my man's team. Look up, cheese, it ain't all me, it's in me. Keep all my gold so long when I'm grinning. Putting traffic on my canine, that's my shimmy. Garbage rappers dropping trash, that's what I am literally. My man don't give a gift, she said it's not giving. If you wanna smoke, I gotta keep a hot chimney. She had a pot smoke, young dog, pot Nipsey. A lot of air.
So Timberland, obviously, we don't even need to explain how he's one of the most goated producers of all time. Although, I guess question right off the bat. So you're telling me, Ghost, that if you heard this and you didn't have any level of context at all, that you can't form an opinion about, or you can't believe that to, one, really be Biggie, and two, like, get a good sense of how and what Biggie raps about from that, enough to think, or enough to come to a conclusion whether you like them or not?
First of all, that's probably the best AI music vibes I've ever heard. That sounds amazing. But as separate from my point, because sure, that's a good approximation of what Biggie sounded like, but it's not an approximation of how we thought. That's my whole point.
What if you heard an album of this?
The same thing, the same exact thing. Again, it's not about
what do you mean, Ghost?
I don't think
like
you can mimic how someone thinks.
If you know, if you know someone, let's for example, if there's record of an entire person's entire discography or a person's entire corpus of writing or whatever, a predictive text program is going to predict something in line with what that person already wrote and the thought processes that person already used.
Yes, yeah. No. What they wrote, I'm not going to say nothing about processes. It can be very predictive as far as lyrics go. I'm not saying that that's not true, but again, there's a limit. The lyrics.
So what if somebody literally told you that they used an AI? They used the AI dating app, for example. And I kind of want to move on, but they used the AI dating app, and their AI avatar. They said this is a good representation. This was what I would sound like. What if someone literally told you that?
If they told me that, that'd be one thing, but I don't see anyone telling me that. So
hold on. Or what if let's say, for example, there was an approximation of your cadence, your whatever, your speech patterns, whatever, your text patterns, and you asked it a question, or somebody asked it a question, and its reply more or less identical to what you don't see a world in which it can reply a reply that's very close to what you reply to a similar question. You don't see a world in which that's the case? Really?
Well, isn't the whole point we're discussing, like, as far as the dating thing is concerned, the fact that, like, or how easy it is for conversations to die with people? Like, even if you match all of their likes and all of that, and you agree with all of their life goals or whatever, you text the person and the conversation falls flat. It doesn't go anywhere. I feel like that's the part that the AI is solving. Like, if it can mimic you in any reasonable to any reasonable degree, and it's mimicking the other person to any reasonable degree, then it can go through those iterations or go through those tests to see if the conversation falling flat would happen or not. If it doesn't, then the hope, I guess, or the goal for the whole platform would be that those interactions are minimized when you when you actually, try to date the people that the AI suggests to you.
That makes sense.
The goal is
If
just to nudge the needle
if
a
Like
little
also-
bit in your
like-
favor.
like-
Yeah, sorry, go
if
ahead. Yeah. Go
it
ahead.
was able to approximate how you would speak and how you react appropriately. And again, my whole point is I don't think it will.
But okay, okay, so maybe and I'm not trying to disparage your experience or anything, but when you do have conversations online and you have a goal and you're trying to be compatible with people for whatever purpose, again, it may not be dating because I can't speak to dating specifically, but for other things, it gets really old and annoying to have the same introduction conversations over and over again and have
Look,
these
I
personality
get it.
mismatches.
I agree. I agree with that.
So in that with that said, if there was any slight nudge that could give a leg up, again, barring any security concerns, if there was any slight nudge that would say, hey, perhaps this is a better match for you on any metric, even if it was a first grade approximation of me talking to a first grade approximation of them, if there was any nudge that can just put a little bit of move one way, just a little bit, move the needle toward perhaps better match, then I think a lot of people would appreciate that. And I think, but I think you're like it almost sounds like you're making a negative out of something that the goal is just to nudge the needle a little bit at least. I'm not to say that this is going to be spectacularly successful and your matches are all going to be 100%, or your first match, the AI match, is going to be 100% perfect, but it's just to say that this may nudge the needle in the right direction. Is that unreasonable?
Again, it's not even about it being a negative for me. Like, it's not a bad thing if people want to use this, but for me, it is literally useless. Like, it's garbage information that has to me.
Nah, see, I don't know. How can you say it's not bad, but then you say it's
I
garbage?
go back to the
It
sixth
gotta be one or the
grader
other.
example. It's just
okay, but listen to me. So you're literally saying that even if the sixth grader thing happened, you're saying there's never a universe in which that could nudge the needle the right way.
Bro, if my sixth grader and the other person, this is a crazy scenario, but if my sixth grader and the other person's sixth grader are talking to each other and we're like, yeah, we think this is gonna work, that means nothing to me. It has no bearing on.
You don't have to reiterate that. If that's your belief on AI rate and at this present time,
that's my belief.
There's nothing to really argue about. That's what you believe it to be, and that's fine. I guess we just don't, because we've seen enough to where it's shown otherwise, but it's fine. Yeah. All right, so I guess kind of speaking to this specifically, and I didn't necessarily bring this up to get into a whole like music AI discussion, but I guess in general, just to go around real quick, like the brief your brief thoughts on it. Do you find it acceptable if they use AI to replicate deceased artists? What do you think, guys?
Dang. I don't know. Take it up with the estate. If the estate's fine, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't how you bring that
like
up.
Aaliyah's uncle or something.
Because it depends on the estate. Because we've seen examples of where they release posthumous, whatever it's called, music, and estates do take issue with that because they say it's not really reflective of how their family member or how their artist would have made music. But this kind of seems just a slight diff from that, because it's almost a different entity. It's just trying to replicate what it believes the artist would sound like. And of course, you could still take offense with it or not. But what about you, Ghost? Do you think do you find an issue with this?
I'm in agreement with Ace. It needs to be sign off from whoever's handling the estate and copyrights and all that, and they would need to get a cut, because again, you're literally taking their
Yeah,
likeness
I think we all
approximate.
agree that if they did do this method, that the estate has to get like pretty much the majority of it, whatever they.
Yeah, but if all that stuff is squared away, then as far as me personally, do I have a problem with it? No. If it sounds good, do it.
Okay. And then what? Sorry, kind of got hiccups in this record. And what about you, Wes? Do you think this is all right? Acceptable?
I think it's goofy. I don't.
Wait, you're serious?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if you're pulling an ace.
No, I think keep it in your bedroom studio. I don't. I think it's goofy.
So even this, which I don't necessarily want to hear, y'all. It's not a music deep dive, but even this, you would say this sounds acceptable, like this. That
Oh yeah. No, the product might sound immaculate. I just think it's a goofy idea. Like I don't like the idea. Like one. Never
Are you
even
biased against it because you're a musician?
I don't. Maybe because I have actually seen some producers who have the same sentiment, and I don't know necessarily that that's the reason or that there's a link there, but I just think I'm not really a huge fan of posthumous records.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's just like leave it alone, like let it go, like they made their contribution and let them go.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna change my mind. I think you're right because
Yeah.
it just opens up too big of a slippery slope. Like,
Yeah, they
what
have
if we had another 10 Tupac albums? Like,
right.
It's
like
what about all the people in the world that want more Tupac?
that's too bad. Like this is life.
I want more Pop Smoke, but I don't know if I want to hear.
I don't know if you guys is rational if it's just too bad. Like literally, we got somebody who's like a legendary producer he probably feels more content in life. Literally now that he got the experience to work with somebody. Well, in theory, work with somebody who wasn't able to.
Yeah, keep it in the bedroom studio. But play.
Wait, so monetizing and releasing isn't monetizing is the problem?
The world doesn't need to hear it. Like, yeah. I'm not.
I don't want to hear no more. What's his name? Kurt Cobain. Like,
yeah, like
I do not want to hear that at all.
So
at the same time, though,
if you're saying you don't want to hear it again, what about all the people that do want to hear it?
This is about us. But
I think I changed my mind.
I mean,
hold up.
First of all, did you change your mind twice now?
Hold up. The other significant portion of it is maybe, and this is maybe from the creative side, but it's like they had zero creative. The actual person has zero creative input on this piece of work that you're now putting out.
That's why I think it's a bit different because like.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Quest, and I hate to go back.
You talking about remixes?
No. You're saying this person had zero creative influence on the AI product. Is that right? Is that what you just said? Because to me, the way I see it is that if you had an AI approximate and you want to date an app, that you have zero influence. Way that you're talking.
I like the tie-in, but we don't.
What? No. First of all, false.
There's a difference between somebody that's dead providing input and somebody that's alive.
Yeah.
And
But goes, yeah, it's a completely different. But I'll say it and I'll put it this way, and maybe you'll see the point. Is that it's like asking someone who's alive, if you ask me, do I like this beat you just made? I can answer yes or no. Biggie can't answer whether he liked that beat or he wanted to be on that beat or the flow. He can't respond to it.
But again, with your example, you're not seeing the results of the AI conversation.
Yeah.
So how do you know if it's
a suggestion? It's just a suggestion. It's much different.
It could be a suggestion where you're talking like a completely different person.
Hold on. The result of the AI thing, the dating thing, was that the computer makes a suggestion to you. Hey, try matching with this person. We have some black box that says there may be a compatibility beyond chance that you have a better conversation. This situation that something is made and I'm gone out of the picture, and it's there's no way for me to say yes, no, indifferent. I never interact with this thing at all, but it's got my voice, my personality all over it. Like it's a completely different scenario. I have no agency over what happens when this song is released. Whereas the other situation, you have complete agency. You just got suggested something.
Yeah, I think there is maybe out of some not the world of difference, but there is a difference in the matter. I think even just the person being alive versus not alive is somewhat important to this.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's say there was a scenario in which a living artist got, somebody made a living artist track, made a beat for the living artist, made an AI vocal, made AI vocals for the track, put it together, and the living artist somehow co-signed it and released it, and nobody knew until later. Whatever. That's an interesting discussion. If the
That is actually.
living
What's
artist,
what's y'all take on it, real quick? What if like Kanye West put all his music into a AI machine and generated an album? Would y'all
and
y'all
he
take?
released it.
Yeah, and he released it, of course. Would y'all one listen to it and do you think it's an acceptable idea? What do you think, Ace?
I think I would be more receptive to it.
Yeah, same.
What about you guys?
I probably listen to it. If it's good, I don't have a problem with it. If it's trash, then I'll be pissed.
Fair enough. So not different from if a person puts out an album out of their own.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and it's kind of interesting how he says he has a solution when there's like we've already discussed like a bunch of different scenarios in which like AI can be used and whether it's acceptable and how the state feels. So I don't know if there's a quote unquote solution to this. I think there's just gonna start to be made laws around it. Which
I mean,
I want to know.
does Timberland want AI Timberland clones making beats and saying this Timberland?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that there's like a lot of things that I think for give him credit, I think he might be talking about the specific issue of
Oh, rights.
Yeah,
and money and clearance and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
how artists feel about it is going to be a whole different thing. And yeah, it's I haven't really thought about it until we start talking about it this evening. It's just like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to a point where we're just one day you're just gonna. I mean, I think streaming services are gonna have to manage to some degree, but you might just be wanting it to see, hey, if there's new whoever music, and you're gonna go scrolling, and then you're gonna bump into an AI generator song, and you're gonna like it or dislike it, and then where do you go from there?
I don't know. This is an extreme case of the T-Pain sentiment. Like, we have it already.
But we could get more.
Yeah, and AI does it for cheaper. You don't need studio time. You don't need all the equipment. You just bang it out. Well, I don't know how the AI generates the music. It's obviously way cheaper to do it this way.
Move forward.
If someone dropped the AI Dilla beat album, that's on the level of Donuts, which is a wild statement, but regardless, would y'all listen?
No, I don't think so.
At this point in time, I'm not against AI.
I'm
not against AI.
Wait, you said an AI Dilla Donuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely listen to that.
I don't think I'd listen.
100%.
If it provided it went to the proper channels, I'm not just listening to some random stoner from Nebraska AI generated Dilla. I don't care how good it has to be an official release, like whatever label or whatever estate they're under. It has to be official for me.
Wait, Ghost, did you mean like you meant in the style of Dilla?
Yeah, where it's basically indistinguishable from Dilla.
Oh.
I'm not checking for stuff like that. Like I wouldn't check for an
I mean,
AI
I get
version
that,
of
but let's say
any
I listened
great
to it
jazz album
and I
or
said
any
it was
great jazz
super
artist.
amazing.
All right, if I got a recommendation
It's still gonna depend on who
to check it
released it for me.
out, yeah, I might check it out, but I don't think I'm gonna form an attachment to that album. Maybe, I mean, I can say it's possible, but
I think the weird thing to think about is if that's possible that AI could make basically a new donuts.
If it's possible for them to make it donuts, it's definitely possible to make an avatar that can date for you.
No. It can. Then couldn't it just make infinite
new something
new
else.
music? Or no,
Yes.
even just keep making donuts albums into perpetuity. Like
Yeah,
why would it?
that's
It's
why
not
I think
limited
it's
to 12.
slippery
I think at
slope.
some point,
But
I think at some
same
point you would get to a
time,
point where it starts to sound like indistinguishable. I don't think it can vary. I mean, I don't even now. I'm not understanding the full capability of
Endless
AI, but
variation.
if you
Yeah, but I mean, think
if
about
you take an
music in
artist that has a
general.
particular sound, if you just make it infinitely, at some point it's gonna. Okay, I've heard it's like it's using some variation of this sound,
Yeah,
just
but I
slightly
mean,
pitched up or pitched down or whatever.
but yeah, I guess like, and if it's a real person, they're gonna start to incorporate influences in their life into their music. So
Mhm.
there's gonna be change over time, whereas an AI is not going to be able to simulate that. So yeah, I guess you're right.
Unless you can simulate to where it starts
a
to grab,
dial.
You probably could.
like it
You
starts to
probably
grab
could.
new stuff.
You
But if
probably
you're just
could.
going based off what it's previously made, at a certain point, I
Mhm.
think it would start to sound like, and it's a diminishing returns of changes.
But I mean, I feel like it's still gonna be a lot.
Yeah, like we could probably get to hundreds, if not thousands.
Yeah. Which is weird.
Okay. Well, obviously, like
I'll just
animal
listen to donuts again.
yeah, that's another conversation. It's like the animal conversation. I won't be surprised if we continue to have conversation surrounding AI. Yeah, I think the bottom line, I think they're just gonna start to make a lot of laws around it.
Oh. As
Go ahead.
a quick follow up or addendum on this, I just looked up to see if Timberland said anything more about plans or for that says is he's doing an AI startup to allow artists to do like a voice filter to use or to clean up their like their voices. So if you have a good cadence or flow but you don't have the best voice, it'll use AI to make your voice sound better.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily fully interact with this particular topic, but it sounds like he did using AI to improve the quality of music, which is cool, I suppose.
The new auto tune.
Basically.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
All the same. Like I said, I can imagine it coming back to AI conversations again and again. But if there's nothing else for this present point in time, we can move on to the next topic, which I believe is the last topic for this evening. Yes. Salute to the Daily Dot. This was a story that I had seen like a while ago. Like, speaking of topics that are stories from a while ago. So, this story by Daily Dot says, petition to ban men from Instacart. Not from using it, but from being a employee of it. Customer says male Instacart shopper got her $16 worth of ground ginger instead of ginger root she ordered. And there's a quote that says, they should really make people take some kind of aptitude test before they work for these shopping apps. So,
damn, so she's saying all men? Jesus.
we're going to get into it.
That's crazy.
A woman's TikTok went viral after she revealed an Instacart fail where a male shopper allegedly delivered heaps of brown ginger instead of a ginger root she ordered. In the 9-second clip, the TikTok user, you can see that for yourself, revealed a plastic bag full of ground ginger in several little bags, and there's a picture up top if you want a visual representation. Oh, I guess there's a TikTok of it. Just play that.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there audio?
Root. And this is what I got.
We'll let that play one more time, just in case it wasn't.
I asked for 1 piece of ginger, like the root. And this is what I got.
That's all
Okay.
I'm wanting.
So it kind of speaks for itself, but the content creator told her 31,000 followers that she only asked for 1 piece of ginger root when she placed the order on Instacart. The TikToker expressed her frustrations in a caption writing, it literally said ginger root. Petition to ban men from Instacart unless they take incompetence test. The Daily Dot reached out to the person via email and TikTok comment regarding the video. This isn't the first time a customer has complained about a male Instacart shoppers. Other creators have gone viral after sharing how their shopper got them non-essential substitutions.
Nonsensical.
Nonsensical. Thank you. See, that's the man in me. Lied about item being out of stock and straight up refused to complete their order. This TikTok video garnered more than 161,000 views as of Saturday. The female viewers agreed with the creator. So, as you can see here, this person and it seems like some others are expressing their frustrations with the fact that, they're using, and I guess this might be obvious already, but I don't use Instacart. Do any of y'all use Instacart or apps like this?
No, I don't really know what it does.
I mean, it's exactly what this, it's really like Uber Eats, but for shopping. But yeah, they're sharing their experiences where they order something, and obviously you don't have the wide influence of who is going to be shopping when you make the order. It's just you send it out to ether, and whoever is available can pick it up, or anyone has the ability to pick it up. And apparently, males are, in theory, more likely to make mistakes, especially when it gets to some more nitty-gritty things like the difference between ginger root and powdered ginger. Obviously, this is not anything too philosophical or deep dive to get into, but I'm curious to hear y'all thoughts on this. I guess one question you could kind of glean from this is there any level of credence to this petition that these people want? Is there any level of credence to the fact that men may not be the best suitors for this type of job? We'll start with that. I think I have a follow-up. We'll start with that. What do you think, Ace?
I mean, if I'm thinking about myself, kind of, but at the same time, I feel like if it was my job, I don't know, because on one hand, I'm thinking, okay, if it's my job, then I would put more effort into it. But also, if it's like an Uber Eats type thing where I'm not really reporting to anybody per se, and it's something I'm doing on the side, then I'm going back to more me being kind of a little bit lazy about it, and probably making this exact same mistake.
Okay. So, in your, not in your defense, but you're saying it may not be a matter of like the sex of the person. It might be a matter of how critical they're taking the job in itself.
I mean, I guess like I do kind of make the extrapolation of if I'm this way where it's kind of lazy when it comes to shopping and knowing about different products, niche food products.
But you can envision a world in which you just replace yourself with a woman that's just doing this as a side hustle, and they don't necessarily have the highest level of familiarity with some of these ingredients, and they're just doing this because it garners more additional income that they may not. They could have the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll chalk it up to my upbringing, but from my personal experience, the women in my life have known a lot more about niche food products than
Getting into gender
males.
roles early. I like
Yeah,
it.
we gonna have to add a feminist tag to this podcast.
Okay. Before you dig yourself into a hole, what do you think, Wes? What do you think of potentially banning men? You think it's a man thing, a man issue?
I am this dude as well. I mean, I understand the sentiment. I don't know if you should ban men, but
Take a test.
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah. I think there's a certain savvy, a certain aptitude that maybe women do pay more attention to this stuff because I think it's
y'all
like
know I'm gonna follow up with you and ask y'all when y'all done talking.
no, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, it's cool.
Already know.
But I think the thing is like you have to be the type of person to know if you have to make substitutions, let's say. You have to know what's a good substitution because just because it says the same product doesn't mean that there's no further insight. Like I feel like there's
And you're saying sex can help or hurt with that.
I'm saying culture.
No one's saying anything about culture, man.
Hold on.
Move out the way.
I can't say for sure whether it's sex or not, but I can say that in my experience, I would not bash someone who thought that it was a sex difference. Or I would not oppose that sentiment
nice
immediately.
Cop out if I heard one, and I'm the cop out if I.
You Euro stepping past that one,
but it's okay.
By culture, I
It is
meant
what it is.
I meant the roles, like the roles of the sexes being dependent upon culture.
I mean, and I don't want. I can.
I think,
Okay, so
yeah,
what?
well-
So what? And what culture are these roles drastically different than Ace?
Exactly. There could definitely be a culture where
No.
males.
I'm asking you specifically.
Do I know all the cultures in the world? I don't know.
Well, the point is, the ones that you do know, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Unless you can think of one that is drastically different.
Yeah, not off the top of my head. No.
Okay, then. So, last but not least, Ghost, what do you think? You think there's think there's enough evidence to show that we might need to ban men from Instacart?
I mean, it's if we're being serious, no, obviously
No, we're not being serious.
It's like a tongue-in-cheek thing, like the men are trash thing, where again, it's not true, but at the same time, it kind of is.
Well, men are trash.
I agree. Yeah, again, men are trash. Men are trash. Men are trash. So I agree with it to an extent.
But
I don't know.
But men being trash doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to work. That's a very drastically different thing.
Again, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. For this specific scenario, I can't say. I don't think I would make this specific mistake, but I made a lot of stupid mistakes that are kind of because I'm a man. I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, I mean, it's true. But I'm not mad at it. It is what it is.
I would like to come on here and think we are a more progressive podcast, but clearly.
Hey, when you think about it, we are. Well, actually, no, it's opposite progressive. Never mind. You're right.
So you guys are all pretty much saying it without saying it that, well, maybe you shouldn't ban them. Men are pretty much at a disadvantage in this type of line of work.
Expect to have to put in
I don't know if I'll go that far.
You can say expect to do this, or yes, you gotta have this type of expectation. But
I can see where you're going with this.
But I'm sure. Hold on. But
you don't need to fight. Is what I'm saying. If
That's
you don't believe
no. To play the other side, I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands. I don't know how people use these things. Hundreds, at least, of. I'll say thousands of these cases that they go perfectly fine and they get all what they need. I'm sure it's not every.
What does that have to do with the price of anything?
I'm just saying.
What if the data to show that the majority of mistakes that are made by men?
Yeah, but how many mistakes are made total?
What if it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 2 million? What if the majority of them are made by men?
It does matter. If there's 10 mistakes in the whole US and we say 9 out of 10 are men, so what? I don't care.
That still shows that there's one sex
Yeah.
that's making more mistakes.
Sample
That
size
shows nothing.
Sample size is important.
Exactly. That shows
Let's
nothing.
not pretend sample size doesn't matter in statistics.
Yeah.
I mean, it does, but I mean,
We're not going into a statistical analysis.
it's like that's kind of obvious. And I mean, now I don't think this conversation warrants like the understanding of how many like mistakes are made. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it does seem like I understand what you're saying. It is important how many mistakes are made, period. But I think the conversation is more pertaining to the fact that there's a
No, the thing is, if there's any petitions to be made about Instacart or any complaints to be had, we have to acknowledge first that there are enough mistakes to even be complaining in the first place. Then we
okay, fine.
Demographic
I
makes
can agree with that. We can
What
agree
if
with that.
what if 9 out of 10 were black? Like what? Then what? Like
Well, according to y'all, it sounds like that should be taken into consideration because y'all tend to believe that. Well, I don't know about race, but y'all think at least a sex can determine how the quality of the outcome. I mean, like I'll take the silence as
Based
no.
culture.
It's still.
You gotta dead that because we already we're like
It's
what
not-
you
it's
have
not
to,
about-
to counter that. You'd have to provide an example of a culture where this is like different. But
Not
anyway,
necessarily. We all can imagine. Like it's not that.
Just imagine. Yeah.
So
So
if there's a family or if there's a I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can extrapolate to society, but like it's like we know that there are men that are chefs, and there's like I don't know if it's a majority of men or a majority of men
yes,
versus
majority
women.
majority of chefs. We do have data on like occupation. If you want that, we do have that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if there's a family or if there's a society or whatever, or a subculture or whatever where men are predominantly chefs, and that's like a popular thing, or that the
why are you
that
guessing
men
when that's
do?
just the truth?
No,
Because he's saying if those men are chefs, then they're most likely more conscious of how they shop.
exactly.
And yet we're still assuming that it's everywhere and everybody. I mean, I'm sorry, shouldn't say we're assuming, but we're saying that a certain culture can't contain a difference when we already know that most men are chefs or most chefs are men. So like the two
I think I see what you're
coexist
saying, but
in
when
the
you
world.
when you say culture, I think of like literally like getting to ethnicities and different like races and things of that nature. If you're
No.
If you're
I
talking
mean,
about the culture of a chef versus the culture of, I mean, now we're talking about the culture of like chefs that also do part-time Instacart. Like I'm kind of not fully understanding it.
No. Okay, let's say there's a town. Let's say a specific town where a lot of
Right.
5-star chefs or whatever 3-star Michelin star whatever chefs come out of for whatever reason. If there's a lot of males in that society and cooking is heavy on something that they do, which is not inconceivable, then perhaps those men in that area, whatever, shop well. Like it's not that crazy.
I'm not the sharpest. You guys know I'm not. What's have to do with the price right of Instacart?
What I was saying is that it's the gender roles that are defined or determined by the culture that's prevalent in the area.
Okay. And
So he's saying
respond to that.
for himself, when you asked the question about what we think and whatever, and we said that based on our experience, we know men or we are men that may make similar mistakes. However, that doesn't mean that we necessarily know that it's a
Well, I respond to that and say, whether you realize it or not, I would think most of y'all do. Most cultures, the men and women roles, quote unquote, will tend to be in line. So you saying it's a cultural thing is cool, but if the vast majority of cultures have similarities in that regard, how is it a cultural thing? It seems like it gets back to it being a sexting, which you guys are trying to avoid? Question mark. Like,
But how?
Ooh,
Okay, but
I'm out.
how?
I think
So
I,
answer this. Answer this. How are the majority of chefs men, but the majority of men can't shop? And
excuse
we're
me.
just saying because when you're not a chef, you can't shop. Like,
I don't.
I don't follow that either.
how do we?
If you,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't even know if I'm fully equipped enough to explain why the majority of chefs are men. That's just the data. That's just the raw data. Like if you go to restaurants and you go if you go in the kitchen, you're gonna see majority of men. That's just what it tends to be. Maybe it's because women prefer to be servers or to handle the front end, whatever that case may be.
Yeah,
That's
but
fine.
okay,
I don't know what that has to do
I
with
worded
that
it
has to do with
weirdly.
conversation though. You guys keep trying to bring something in.
But
that
You dropped out. You dropped. I
you're
worded
trying
out.
to force us to make the to come to the determination based on which
the
I'm
conclusion of
only
what you guys
basing on
believe.
my experience, which I'm only basing on my experience because I can only base these things on my experience unless we have actual data. You're trying to make me come to the conclusion that it's purely sex, like just sex.
I don't know.
And
No,
I
I'm not trying to make
can't.
it. I'm not trying to make it purely sex, but sex might be the. I'm maybe saying sex may be the biggest factor.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I'll say maybe, but I'm not gonna say
I
definitely.
mean, okay. Well, then if you're not sure, then what like concrete could it be? You said culture,
Okay,
and
look,
I've
come on.
explained that more cultures, men are going to have similar, like.
This is some bad faith argument, right?
Yeah,
For-
yeah.
for
Hold
who?
on,
For
hold on,
me?
hold on. I said something. I said something wrong here.
For me?
But let me
Yeah,
just
from you.
let me
For
say it this
what?
way. Hold on, hold
You're
on.
Story
right, but it's
straight.
bad.
Hold
The
on,
way-
hold on. Let me say it this way. Let me say it this way.
I
Okay.
don't want to be bad.
If we the only thing that we've established as a fact is that most chefs are men. That's one fact that we have, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any other facts regarding food and men and women that would be relevant to this discussion?
I don't even know how the chef thing is relevant.
Hold on. But do we have anything else that's relevant? Any facts?
What's another question? Or maybe we do have the fact. I don't know what the other questions are. You guys brought up chefs for some reason, and we do have data on. We know that the majority.
I
of
guess
chefs,
a question could be, who? Well, I mean, not that we have data on this, but I think I can make an assumption. But I don't know who does the shopping in the household. What else might be?
majority of women.
Yeah, I would think so. And I can.
We know that women spend
yes.
way more in the economy.
We can agree on that. And so, if that is the case, if women are doing most of the shopping, seems like a relevant fact to the situation, then women are naturally going to get better at it than men.
Okay, so we agree. It's a sex thing. Okay,
That's not a sex thing. Hold on.
Wait.
Wait. Stop. How do you get to that's a sex thing?
You said women are better shoppers.
What? I didn't say that.
Come
Oh,
on,
my bad.
no.
I guess I misheard. My apologies. Okay, I thought I heard that. I thought I heard
What?
that.
Women do the shopping in the household. That
And
was the
therefore are
question.
better. Come on,
And
now.
therefore are better shoppers.
Yes.
Exactly.
So why are you trying to talk
Wait, what?
around it? You didn't say that.
Did you just?
That doesn't.
Is that gaslighting?
What he's saying is that doesn't make women inherently better.
Exactly. Am I crazy?
It's the fact that they do it, they have more practice at it.
Really
Let's
matter.
slow down. Let's slow down.
Just because
you
they're
guys
not
are kind
better.
of stuck up on the fact that I am forcing you guys to a position when I'm not necessarily getting to the nitty gritty of why. I'm just saying that is you guys' stance. Like, I'm not saying inherently men are worse at this job. You guys just, based off what you described, men will be worse.
Okay.
And that's fine. What's the problem? I don't know why you guys were.
He's right. Like, he's right. Y'all kind of talking around it.
Like, exactly. Like that's all I want to. You guys just need to admit it. That's just what the thing. You guys didn't want to admit it for some reason.
But we were asking the question I thought we were asking the question, sex the difference. And the answer's still maybe not.
It is.
Probably
Well,
not.
okay.
Even it is.
Oh,
What?
yes, it is. The
we-
answer.
No, this is semantics.
No, it is semantics because okay, the answer is yes. Women are inherently, if we're just talking about the shopping thing, women are inherently better at shopping because of the roles and blah blah blah. But even though we know the justification, and they're not inherent, they weren't born better shoppers. The fact is, they generally are. Like it's a semantics thing.
Case closed.
Yeah.
So then we agreed. Just like
We
just like that
agreed.
meme.
Yeah, I follow.
Yeah.
Man, this is
I
definitely
can't
one
believe
of
we
those-
had to do a statistical deep dive for
This is one of those
damn
cases
topic.
where obviously y'all not
Y'all
aren't just arguing to argue, but it's like why did you have to force it when I knew you guys' stance from the beginning,
Because you didn't ask the question clearly.
and yet I still knew y'all's conclusion. it's funny how that comes about. Okay. I mean, I guess it's if we get there in the end. What's the follow up with? Would y'all if y'all did use a service like this, or I guess if y'all had a household in which you had an option, would you prefer one over the other? Would you, Ghost?
When you say one over the other, you mean
man or woman doing your shopping?
Oh, you mean just independent of me? I mean, I'd say woman.
Okay. Wes?
We've established the.
Yeah. Same.
Yes.
Same.
So the moral of the story is we banned men from Instacart.
I mean, if we use data, let's say we extrapolated this and we took a survey on this, and everyone agreed that they would want a woman to be doing it. I mean, I guess you guys' conclusion would be that men should be banned from it, but it's fine. It's fine.
No.
Or you would agree that they should only hire women then.
No.
So you would.
That's like, why would I could say that about any profession and I'd be crucified.
Well, you're saying that they should hire men.
What's wrong? If you believe it, then stand on the cross. What's the problem?
I don't believe it. Also, as I said, I
You don't believe the
even
data?
know. No, I don't. Hold on. I don't care.
What don't you believe? Exactly?
I don't care. I don't care about Instacart messing up a few orders. Like you write the people, you get it.
I mean, you
fixed,
don't
get
care
your money
because
back.
you're not the CEO of the business. But if you were, then maybe you would.
No, I feel like the value of allowing men and women to do Instacart is higher than this data right now.
You believe that?
Yeah, and also, I mean,
your own thoughts and opinions.
First of all, it's written into law, so I don't even have to do this.
Plus, you're also skipping past the fact that it might not be more profitable for them to fire all men. Like
yes.
We're
See,
not
that's
actually
a
talking about
1,000%
firing all men.
valid response. He's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if we want to kind of wrap this up with a more data, I guess it's interesting because I would, without even knowing the stats, I would wager to say that the majority of employees of Instacart are men, and they do they do more jobs on average.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So it's kind of interesting in that sense. Men are more likely to work these jobs and work harder at them.
Which again skews the data because if there's more men working, majority of the mistakes are going to be made by men.
Okay. See, y'all do bring in valid points. Y'all do. But it's fine. At the end of the day, this is meant to be funny. What do you say?
They're doing more work because they're skimping.
What do you mean?
I'm saying you're just blasting through them.
Oh, yeah. That's very true. Yeah, I wonder what the repercussions are, if any, if there are any. Like it's basically the equivalent of Uber Eats, but you literally just bring them the wrong order.
No, I mean I don't know if there's a rating system, but
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you get a bad rating.
Yeah, if you get too many complaints about bad orders, I'm sure it reflects negatively on you. But as far as the customer is concerned, usually they just you report it, they replace your object or whatever. Whatever.
Well, I
Go on.
mean, I don't know about the replacing object thing.
Or give you your money back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, salute to all the Instacart men and women out there. If there's nothing else, we can move on to the next joint. What's there on? That was everything. Oh man. Nice and lighthearted, right, guys? So if you've been enjoying us deep dive into these topics, that is great, and we appreciate that. And now is kind of weird introducing music because I'm listening to music afterwards, but I will say that, as always, the list of songs that we listen to and enjoy today will be in the description below, as well as a playlist for all the records. But before we get into music, a couple other quick things. To be honest, I don't even know if this is going to be too much. Does anyone have anything extra to get off the heart, to get off the chest? Anything that we need to walk back, or anything that we missed for any of the topics or anything of that nature?
Oh, I'm good regarding the topics.
Yeah, me as well. I think in general we do a good job at covering things. It's not really it's usually just me something I miss or want to apologize for. And let me just real quick go over it, see if I did ask everything I wanted to ask. I think if y'all give me some behind the scenes note stuff, if y'all didn't spend so much time arguing with me, I was gonna ask y'all, do y'all think there are jobs that inherently men and or women are better at, and see if y'all walked yourself into a corner with that type of thing? But I think I already can kind of. Y'all already gave me enough ammo, so it's cool. And that's cool. That's fine. Then, if there's nothing else regarding that, what am I missing? No, I know we usually have a warm quote of the week. I'm not doing that today. Apologies.
Looking forward to. What we're looking forward to?
See, that's why we have good hosts on here. Yes, what are we looking forward to in the near future, in the long-term future? You know what they say about having something to look forward to. What do you got, Ghost?
Street Fighter 6, new season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That show is still running.
Yes, sir. Longest running sitcom ever. Live action, at least. Into the Spider-Verse. I think those are my main three things.
You say live action sitcom?
Yep.
What is
Longer
that?
than y'all's favorite show.
What does that mean?
Simpsons.
What is live act? You mean not a cartoon?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why The Simpsons doesn't count.
I don't know what you're referring to, Ghost, but my favorite sitcom would probably be a black one, so it probably isn't the one you're referring to.
Oh, okay. I know one of y'all be hopping on Seinfeld's nuts, but
I think we just agree Seinfeld is a really good one.
One of y'all definitely said Seinfeld's the best comedy.
I would probably.
That's funny.
Probably nobody's ever said.
Yeah, that's funny. No,
probably literally no one has ever said that. But it's
the
fine.
way y'all be gassing that up, nah.
You just say it's trash and you're wrong. That's it. Don't try to put stuff on everybody else.
Nah, y'all definitely said that. Don't walk it back now.
Who are you gonna go from somebody saying it's actually good, really good, to saying it's the greatest of all time?
No, because I said it's trash, and then one of y'all said no, it's the great. We've had this conversation so many times. I know what
you literally just making something up. That's literally what it boils down to. but it's cool. Sorry. What about you, Wes? What are we looking forward to?
I was doing a lot of mandatory overtime at my job, and that is over. So I have my life. So
The overtime is over.
Mandatory
try to,
overtime?
yeah, I'm gonna try to enjoy my evenings now. Get some stuff done. So
Without getting into too many details, is this like 80 hours a week they were making you work or something? I'm just curious because
no, not 80, but I had a couple of 60s. So
jeez, that's pretty.
Yes, we're all still very hardworking men on this podcast, if you can believe. What about you, Ace? Looking forward to anything coming up?
Not anything in particular. I will say, I'll go into story time a little bit about the last couple weeks.
Please share. Unless it's anything too personal. Don't spill
It's not. I won't go into too many details, but we'll say like in reference to this being like Mental Health Month, I started talking to a counselor, and one of the biggest things that I wanted to discuss is like how much I too much.
How much you what too much?
How much I like work too much.
Okay, gotcha.
So after discussing that, we've had like 3 sessions, I think, but after the end of the second session, the conclusion we came to is that I should talk to my boss and try to come to a better understanding of like what's expected of me, and mostly in terms of like work hours and trying to set a better schedule. So I did that last week, and we came to an agreement about me like sticking to an 8-hour shift per day. So
what?
Yeah. So
sorry.
So yeah, like we had that meeting, I think Tuesday. So yeah, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I stuck to I did a 6 to 2:30, and I was like at 2:30 I was offline, and my boss was cool with it. It was perfectly well understood that was going to be what I was going to do, and I had like it's been forever since I've had that much time to myself after the end of a workday. So it felt extremely weird, but I mean, I had a ton of stuff that I had wanted to do, so it's not like I just did nothing. But it was just crazy to have that much amount of time. It's something that I'm going to be doing moving forward. So
nice,
it's like,
nice.
Yeah.
Seems like the team is working less of this section. Hey,
so that's good enough.
Well timed.
You know I gotta ask. So we've been telling you for years, bro. And it took 3 sessions.
It's weird. I mean,
it was interesting. I wasn't
2 sessions.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say
I was gonna follow up and say, remind me. I would love to like hear more about that. Because
yeah, we gonna have to.
So I'd just love to hear more about that, because counseling is definitely something. I have the hot take that everyone should have either go to therapy or have some people that they can talk to confidentially and unfiltered. So I'd love to like chop it up with you and hear more about that. And it doesn't and it really doesn't matter, because the outcome it seemed like it's something positive. So that's on record. That's what I will say.
I feel like I had a weight lifted off my shoulders when you said that.
You know what I should have done? Hold on, let me go to the right screen. Nice. We are professionals here. Nice. I'm glad to hear. I would say for me, what's interesting? The thing I've been looking forward to is kind of in the midst of happening right now. So maybe it's kind of even though I'm all thinking about my next week, I'm kind of enjoying. Okay, I'm looking forward to this month, and it's kind of sus for me because I don't really particularly care about birthday months and all that. But a lot of the things that I've thought would happen this month are happening. Including some other things that I hope are happening by the end of the month, like home renovation stuff. So yeah, I guess the thing I was looking forward to is this month, and I think I hope to look forward to is the home renovation starting this month. But it's nearing the end of the month, so if it doesn't happen, I guess that's just next month worries. And also, I don't know if I said this on record, but depending on when those other things that I mentioned take place, to push it out. But I think I'm gonna start planning my next trip, and to be honest, my first trip that I actually planned. So stay tuned for information regarding that.
Vacation?
No, what the hell?
You said trip?
Yeah, trip.
Is that not a vacation?
What does that mean?
Oh, I guess depending on you guys should know me. I don't vacation. I don't take vacations. Or I seldom do that. I don't really even think about vacation.
What's a trip then?
I'm gonna go to a different location for a certain amount of time, but I'm still going to work during it.
Oh, you talking about like a outing?
Holy
I
moly! I thought this would be quick. I didn't even think. I want to take a trip. To be honest with you guys, I still plan to work though. I don't really see it as a vacation. I just see it as I'm going to go somewhere.
Oh, so you're
This actually did require explanation because people don't do that. Like it's not.
And that's fine. Yes, you have to understand that. Yes, I can work from anywhere. Yes, that's fine. Fair enough.
All right. Well, yeah. Let us know.
Yeah, look forward to more information about that. But yeah, that's good. The things you guys mentioned even make me more delighted. So that's good. And with that being said, I think we've reached just about the end of this podcast. Obviously, again, the music will come after. But like I mentioned before, I do give thanks to y'all for coming out here and doing this podcast thing. Even I felt a bit rusty. I think I was mentioning to somebody about like I look like faked a disagreement with somebody I was talking to recently, just to kind of get back in the mode. But
that does not surprise me one bit.
I'm gonna get past that comment, and again, I think it was still a good showing. I hope the quality is like audio sounded fine, things of that nature, but we did pay attention to it that in the beginning, so I think it did come out relatively to a level that we expected to at this point in time. And we give thanks to any and all listeners, both more so for the future reference. But yeah, we greatly appreciate any level of audience that we have. And we hope that by listening to us, that you might have gained new perspective or learned something new, like the fact that if you use Instacart and your Instacarter is a man, well, don't expect the best, statistically. Or we just hope that you found us entertaining. But if none of that happened, then the only thing we can say to you is be warm. Be filled. All right. Good evening. So stop recording. I'm assuming comes first.
Yep.
And did we stop streaming? I'm assuming we got to, right? Ace?
Huh?
We stopped streaming too, right? I'm assuming we have to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.